It's game on. Game on. Going strong. Game on. Game on.
It's Game On. Presented by Spectrum Sports.
And a very pleasant good evening from the Stan Sheriff Center in Manoa, where Hawaii hopes to keep it going tonight against the Gauchos of UC Santa Barbara. And this is Game On, presented by Spectrum Sports for Rainbow Wahine Volleyball. Hi, everybody. Scott Robbs once again, along with the coach Dave Shoji and Ryan Kalei Suji. Lisa, again, will be with Kanoa calling the action a bit later. Well. An evening ago, we were sitting here wondering, can Hawaii do it? Can they beat Cal Poly? Can they knock off a nationally ranked team? And 2 hours and 20-plus minutes after that, Hawaii certainly was able to do that. Hawaii pulls off the upset, wins it in 5.
Yeah, the numbers aren't necessarily pretty, but Hawaii, more importantly, got the W against a ranked opponent in Cal Poly, someone that has really given them trouble the past few years. Taking a look at that hitting percentage from Hawaii, not able to eclipse the 200 mark, hitting at 190. Hawaii outblocked as well, 19-11 and a half, but Hawaii with the advantage from behind the service line as well as in the dig column.
Dave, you look at those numbers and they favor Cal Poly. How was Hawaii able to win?
Well, I'm not really sure, but coaches always want to look at the stat sheet. And I say the stat sheet doesn't tell you who's going to win, and that was the case last night. It doesn't matter what the stat sheet said; it's who won the match, and we won the match. So that was beautiful.
Well, let's take a look at highlights from an evening ago. We start off with Angel Gaskin.
You know, Angel Gaskin really turned it on in the latter parts of the match. She really was the go-to player in sets 4 and 5. Really doing a nice job combining her shots. You see that little tip shot there, but I think for the majority of the time, she was really banging away and going high blocker and really got her way in that right side.
Coach, how about Tori Van Winden?
Well, Tori Van Winden was really good at times, but we held her under the 5 kills per game average that she has. We held her under 37%, which that was her hitting percentage going in. But I'd like to say something about Adley Van Winden. We held her to 6 kills in 5 games, and I think that was one of the keys to the victory.
And the blocking, Ryan. I mean, their blocking was spectacular.
One of the things that Hawaii knew going into this matchup was going to be the blocking of Cal Poly, which really gave Hawaii fits at times. But one of the players that also stepped it up was Natasha Burns in the middle, putting up really a solid wall defense for Hawaii and providing that offensive lift. I mean, at times the contact and the connection between setter and hitter weren't great, but she got a kill.
All right, in the battle of the cellar dwellers, it was UC Riverside winning in 5 over Cal State, Fullerton, Davis in 4 over CSUN, and Long Beach State falls in 4 to UC Irvine. So the up-to-date standings as of this moment, of course, Hawaii with that half-game lead over Cal Poly. And take a look at UC Santa Barbara, tonight's opponent. They sit at 5-5, right in the middle of the pack. And here are the RPI rankings coming in to this weekend. We talked a bit about this last night. Now, Hawaii checked in at 75, Cal Poly at 18. Hawaii won, but that win will more than likely probably not give them enough of a boost to get into an at-large position should they not win the conference outright. So let's take a look at the tiebreakers between Hawaii and Cal Poly. Now keep in mind, we're thinking that both these teams will win the rest of their matches. Should they, you can eliminate number 1. You could eliminate number 2, but number 3, guys, is really where it comes down to. It's going to come down to total sets won and lost, and that's where Cal Poly has a huge advantage.
Well, we've gone 5 a number of times in the conference, and that's going to hurt us in the long run because Cal Poly's swept just about everybody, and so that's not looking good. Number 3 is not looking good for us.
Time now for the coach's hat. It's brought to you by Bank of Hawaii. We saw the RPI, we saw the standings, we watched the win last night. What does it all mean for Hawaii?
Well, that means that Hawaii needs to continue to win. That's all really they can do, and that's all they can control is their side of the net and making sure that they win. If it gets down to that tiebreaker scenario, Hawaii has got to hope that Cal Poly slips at some point in time. So Hawaii has got to just do what they need to do to win, and it gives them a glimmer of hope that if Cal Poly slips up, because they still have matches against Irvine, against Santa Barbara, hopefully they'll let up at some point and Hawaii can come across.
I think tonight is a real key night because they call it a trap game. You really emotional. You won last night. They probably stayed up a little bit, celebrated, but tonight's going to be tough because it's hard to get back up 2 nights in a row.
you've been in that situation countless times over the 42 years you coach. What was one of the things that you kind of always remind a team, or what did you say to a team after a big win like that, having to play the very next night?
Well, in the locker room.
That you can say on television.
No, there's nothing negative about going into the locker room, but you have to tell them, look, hey, let's celebrate this. We'll go to our post-game meal, have fun, but the minute you go home, you got to be thinking about Santa Barbara.
And that's what the case will be again tonight. Hawaii taking on the Gauchos of UC Santa Barbara. The duel that'll be calling the action once again tonight. Let's go courtside. It's Kanoa. Belated happy birthday, by the way, Kanoa and Lisa Strand-Ma'a.
Hey, thanks a lot, Scott. Yeah, Kanoa Leahy here courtside with Lisa. And, well, Dave was talking about it, right? The sort of short memory that is required of a team under these circumstances where you have a signature victory and you can celebrate that only for seemingly a moment before you then have to turn your attention on the team that you went 5 sets with earlier this month in UC Santa Barbara. From the players' perspective, even just from the exhaustive nature of that marathon match last night, how do you do it?
That's a really tough one. 2 hours and 22 minutes last night, up and down roller coaster. How do you do it? You have to hit the reset button. Once you hit that reset button, refocus and move on. These two teams match up extremely well. They went 5, like you just shared, last meeting up in Santa Barbara, and they know that there's going to be a lot of long rallies in this match. So truly, they just have to reset. They have to stay focused, and the coaching staff has to do kind of what they did last night, which was make quick adjustments and get players in that are going to contribute to the team.
The difference is last night you had that stellar crowd, right? It was the whiteout promotion and everybody showed up and everyone was jacked up. They understood just what was riding on that match against Cal Poly. Tonight, you're probably not going to have that same level of energy in the building, at least to start. And so it's incumbent on the players and the coaches to sort of manufacture that themselves.
Absolutely. They got to own it. This is the hardest part about the game. Coach Soji just said, basically, it's a trap night. And it is, because you have that high and then you have the low. But the good teams, the great teams, figure out a way to balance that out and try to be a little bit more consistent and take care of business.
Well, the Gauchos, they're 5-5 in the Big West Conference, but Hawaii goes from having to pay its full attention to the Cal Poly offensive attack last night and Tori Van Winden to now the most elite hitter in all of the conference, and that is Lindsey Ruddins, who is tops in the Big West with 5.43 kills per set. She took 70 swings the first time these two teams met earlier this month.
Well, she's dynamic, and she really is their go-to girl, if you will. She's got over 1,200 kills this season alone. She's a 6'2", outside hitter, and they will set her everywhere and anywhere on the court. And really, it's just a matter of trying to slow her down.
All right, we'll see, because the first time these two teams met back on October 5th in California, there were, between the two sides, 169 digs recorded. So be ready, get comfortable, because this is one that could feature a lot of lengthy rallies that we have seen here between these two squads over the years.
I agree. Both of these teams noted for their defense, and we'll be watching that tonight.
All right, we'll see how it goes. Can Hawaii pull off its own sort of hana-ho this weekend and back up that emotional victory over Cal Poly with another win against UC Santa Barbara? We'll see you at First Serve. Let's send it back over to the corner crew.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. We'll take a break, but stick around, because when we return, we're going to talk about the University of Hawaii Marching Band right here on Game On. To the stand, Sheriff Center, another night of Big West Conference volleyball action. Hawaii taking on the Gauchos of UC Santa Barbara, and one group will be in attendance like they are at almost every University of Hawaii sporting event. That's the UH Band. They play a pivotal role to bring an atmosphere to all the UH sporting events.
The band is the energy and the hype to the crowd, and just being able to play our music for everyone is just a great experience for us as a class to play in front of a huge crowd.
It is a class. It's also athletics, so the football games are kind of our tests. And when we have to perform our shows, so all of the practice we have to do in the set class period is working as a group, but just like how we have homework in regular academic classes, we have to make sure as individuals we memorize our music and we know what our show is, what we're doing personally, so that we can make it all look good.
People might not know that we go to over 100 events. We're the hype. I think we get the crowd going. We're the spirit. We just provide a lot of, hopefully we provide a lot of entertainment. The neat thing I think about being in the university band is, especially the marching band, is that we have students that have 6-7 years of marching experience to 0. So what you see on the field is a combination of students with a lot of experience to no experience whatsoever. This year, we have about 275 in the program, which is a large number. And it ranges anywhere from about 210, 220 to this, to 275, I would say around there. 90%, I'd say the majority of our band is UH Manoa, but we do have a group of community college students that join us, which is really neat and a great experience for them too as well. But to do a show, we have 3 rehearsals a week, and essentially a lot of times we do a show in 2 weeks, which is only 6 rehearsals.
We have about 2 weeks, sometimes 1 week, to put together an entire show, and that includes 4 different pieces of music each week, every 2 weeks, every game. And if that doesn't tell you how dedicated we are and how much we love this program, then I don't know what does. Rainbow Invitational is an opportunity for each high school to see each other's shows, like a culmination of their work. And then being a part of the UH band is even more special because we get to perform for people who truly appreciate our craft.
For our students, there's no greater feeling of being able to perform for the high schools that they went to school for, or just to hear the cheering crowd of the high schools.
Well, if you want to come out and support the band, you have the Hawaii Rainbow Invitational Drumline Clinic and Marching Band Festival. Now, the Drumline Clinic is on Sunday, November 11th over at the UH Music Building, room 108 from 1 to 3. And then the next day, Monday evening or late afternoon, 4:30 right here on campus at the TC Ching Field. Get out there, support the band. It's a lot of fun to watch what they do. That's hard work. I mean, I didn't realize that you were the flute captain of your band in high school, and you told me you used to spend hours doing that, huh?
Such a jokester, Scott. But,
what about the band?
Well, I love the band. I love Gwen, and they just bring so much energy to the game. And they play great music. That's one thing. The other thing is, if you watch them, if you're here in the arena, watch them. They got some characters going off over there and having fun, and then they sing. It's a lot of fun to just watching the band.
Yeah, you talk about tradition of this program over the years, and you talk about the different things that happen here at the Stan Sheriff Center. They are definitely a large part of the special environment that makes the Stan Sheriff Center one of the best places to play collegiate volleyball in the country. Just one other component amongst the aunties and the fans and the other things that happen here at the Stan Sheriff Center. This band definitely a part of that culture.
Props to the band. Go out and support them in a couple of weeks here on campus. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll focus on tonight's opponent, the Gauchos of UCSB, but connect with Spectrum Sports by liking our fan page on Facebook, Instagram, or via Twitter at Spec Sports High or hashtag Hawaii WVB. And welcome back to the Stan Sheriff Center. Coming up in a few will be Hawaii taking on the Gauchos of UCSB. All right, let's fire it up. It's time for the dashboard, brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank. And this is the rematch between these two programs that took place a few weeks ago up on the coast in Santa Barbara, a match in which Hawaii outplayed, I guess you can see, UCSB 1-5, and some pretty incredible numbers, including the digs.
Yeah, look at those things, 89-80. Both teams known for their defense. We're going to see two of the top liberos in the conference going at it here tonight. And the hitting percentage, again, a lot of defense going on. Not the best hitting percentage of 138 to 081.
Keep in mind that match was played that day, and then the next day Hawaii had to go up and play at Cal Poly. Here are the leaders for the Gauchos, and Lindsey Ruddins, it feels like she's been around forever. She's only a junior, but she's a good one.
She's really tough. She takes a lot of attempts. I think last match we played Santa Barbara that she had 70-something attempts. My prediction is if she has to hit 70 times tonight, we're going to win because she can't carry that load, and she shouldn't have to carry the load. But if they set her that many times, she's going to wear down, or we'll figure out how to stop her. So I'm hoping maybe Santa Barbara spreads it around and not have to rely on her that much.
And taking a look at Hawaii's stat leaders throughout the season, we've called these names. Noreen Yosia, who was 1 kill away from another triple-double last night. You see her numbers hitting 246. McKenna Granada, who turned it on at the latter part of the match as well last night, hitting with over 3 kills per set. And Natasha Burns, who's really established herself as a go-to player in the middle. You see the numbers on her with that hitting percentage at 324.
And now the statistical comparisons. And really, you guys, when you look at the numbers, including the overall record, pretty similar.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I say, I'm going to throw out the stats, Scott. I don't care about the stats, but it's for the media guys kind of bring it up and for us to discuss it, but I don't like to discuss it.
Dave, you're a media guy. You're now a media guy. What was the number? You know, when you would get the stat sheet, so after every game, was there one particular number that you always looked at, though?
I look for the hitting errors because you can have a lot of kills, but if you have a lot of hitting errors and you're hitting 10%, then you really are negating your positive stats. So I look at hitting errors and blocking errors, too.
We know one thing, Ryan. One Rainbow Wahine not available tonight, Casey Castile. She went down with an injury early in that match last night. McKenna Ross came in and really put on a good match for Hawaii in her absence.
Yeah, it's going to be a big question mark coming into tonight's match. Can McKenna Ross help to carry that offensive load as well as put up a decent block against the Gauchos here tonight? We know that Castillo is not suited up. She's actually in her warm-up gear still. We'll probably see what happens to her next week if she is made available. We believe it's a knee injury that she tweaked a little, so we'll see what happens to her. But again, a lot of pressure may be put on McKenna Ross, who again really came out to play last night and provided that spark off the bench.
Coach, last night we saw Natasha Burns. She had a terrific match for Hawaii. But the second middle position, we saw 3 different players there, including Sky Williams, who we haven't seen much this year, but she really seemed to energize the team in sets 4 and 5.
Well, you know, Robin, as a coach, is just pushing buttons. You know, she's just trying this girl, and if it works, you know, great. If it doesn't work, let's try this button. And then she's ended up with Skylar in game 4, and Skylar gave us a lift, and I think she was a responsible, big part of the win last night.
And all middles very different in their approaches. So if you're an opposing coach, you have to be ready to have a game plan against each of these middles. Of course, Leva doesn't hit a traditional 1 set. She hits a 1.5, a 2 at times. So the blockers for the other teams have got to recognize whatever middle's in there and try to make the adjustments based on who's on the other side of the net.
Yeah, and Burns hits the ball about 5 miles an hour, so you got to be prepared for that.
Yeah, you're right.
Bless her heart, I love her, and but you know, it's just kind of that off-speed stuff all the time.
Well, we'll find out. Can Hawaii, can they hang in there? Can they pull it off? Can they win tonight against UCSB after such an emotional victory an evening ago against Cal Poly? We'll take a break. When we come back, the anthem, Hawaii Ponui, and then Kanoa and Lisa with the call of the action.
And with that, we welcome you inside the Stan Sheriff Center. Kanoa Leahy alongside Lisa Strand-Ma'an. Lisa, take us through the Kaiser Permanente keys to the match.
Well, for UC Santa Barbara, they just need better offense tonight. The last time these two teams met, they hit at 0-8-1. But talking to their coach, she says it's all about the go-to serve and pass. And for Hawaii, it's keeping the heart. We talked about this. They showed so much heart last night. Let's see if they can continue on their roll here and keep their hearts alive for the remainder of this match.
The Gauchos coming in 13-9 overall. They're 5-5 in the Big West Conference. As is the case with the teams that travel to Hawaii, this is their lone match of the week. The Rainbow Wahine 14-6, now 10-1, coming off of that emotional victory in 5 sets over Cal Poly last night. And Lindsey Ruddins, the first of many sets that will go her way, sends it long, and Hawaii strikes first. The Hawaiian Financial FCU starting lineups will scroll at the bottom of your screen. You'll see some changes here tonight. McKenna Ross in at outside hitter in place of Casey Castillo, who was not medically cleared to suit up here this evening. And Ross already paying a little bit of dividends, being inserted into the starting rotation right next to Natasha Burns. They're able to put up the stuff.
And Ross showing a huge smile up when they announced her for the starting lineup, and she's starting things out right, sealing the deal at the net.
Also, Skylar Williams getting the start at the other middle position after she proved to be quite a spark for the Rainbow Wahine in that match last night. Roll shot there for Rowan Ennis, 6'1" sophomore from Virginia Beach, Virginia. And UCSB is on the board.
UCSB known to be a very tough serving team.
Yeah, in fact, they lead the Big West Conference in aces per set. Bump set goes to Ross. Good hit there, but Amelia Petrocchi, one of the great liberos in this league, with the dig. Ross a second crack at it off the fingertips of the block. Outside set now goes to Tori Glasker, and she pushes it down the line and out. You may recognize Tori, 5'9" junior from South Jordan, Utah. She was playing in a different uniform here in the islands last season with the Utah Utes. They came out for the Hawaiian Airlines Rainbow Wahine Classic. She is a transfer after spending 2 seasons in Salt Lake City. Slide goes to Ennis, and she pounds it down, and the Gauchos have ripped off 3 straight points.
On that step out, Ennis, a 6'1" middle blocker, moving the ball around well. The freshman setter doing a nice job establishing the outside, the right side of the court.
Ruddins again with the serve, forces an overpass, and Glasker eats it up.
Lindsay Ruddins not only their go-to girl in the front court, but she also leads their team in service aces. That's her 34th of the season.
Came in 3rd in the conference in that category. Here's Yosia against a double block. Tried to go over it. Ruddins with the dig. Glasker goes high hands. Chance here for Hawaii. Here's Ross again. Plugs it through that block and down. Several quality swings, wouldn't you say, from McKenna Ross here to start?
Absolutely, and I love that she's being set right from the get-go. They're including her in the offense, trying to establish again that outside position so that they can open up the middle blockers.
May have been an out ball there on the Q serve, but it winds up a swing for Glasker, and she sends it long, no touch up front, so Hawaii draws even. Glasker averaging 2.38 kills per set. That's second on the team, but that is over 3 kills fewer per set than the team leader, Lindsay Ruddins, who's second in the nation coming into this match. And that's going to be a mishandle on the set called against the freshman setter, Olivia Lovenberg. And so a point for Hawaii, and they jump back in front. Back row set, that's Ruddins, the touch. Read nicely there by Ross. McKenna Granato from the back row. That had some power behind it. Now Hawaii with it again. That middle set connection to Skylar Williams, not there. Ma'afala sent it a little bit too tall, I think, even for the 6'1" Skylar.
Yeah, and there's going to be a little bit of a disconnect there. They haven't played as much in this type of situation, but you got to love the audible. Skylar Williams yelling for it, and Faith Ma'afala, again, willing to set that middle from anywhere on the court.
So 5 serving 5 here in set number 1. Here's Yosia off that double block. She'll get a second whip at it down the line and wide. Point for UCSB. So Hawaii able to put together that thriller victory in 5 sets last night. The building was electric. The energy in here was like at no other time this season. But here they are the day after, pulling off that signature victory. And they got to try to manufacture some of that energy because the crowd a little bit more distant tonight here at the start than what we saw last night.
Can't agree more. A lot more distant. You don't see all the white. It was quite a sea of white, if you will. And I'll tell you, the energy, it started slow, but they changed it around, and they started doing the little things, and they started believing that they could win no matter what. And they did.
Hitting error against Glasker. And that's why you've heard the term tossed around here from Dave Shoji in the Game On segment. Yourself, Lisa, using that term trap game. This is a possible trap night just because of the seesaw of emotion from one night to the next.
It's a dangerous matchup, if you will. These two teams, again, they went 5 earlier in the season, and UCSB has nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Ruddins is dug up by Yosia. Here's Angel Gaskin, who had a solid match last night against the Mustangs. Dug up, middle set, goes to Nicole Owenge. Scramble maneuver on Hawaii's side and bumped over by Yosia. Here's Glasker, the set too wide, and Hawaii wins a lengthy one.
And Lovenberg, the freshman setter, Love, if you will. She's played in 87 sets so far this year, but she is a freshman, and she's going to make little errors like that.
Yeah, freshman out of San Diego, California, graduate of Canyon Crest Academy. Into the CIF playoffs 4 times in her 4-year varsity career. Overpass, handled nicely by Skylar Williams. Credit that one to Noreen Yosia from behind the service line.
And Noreen Yosia from the service line has been spectacular, nothing but spectacular, forcing a lot of overpasses and really putting pressure on the opposing team.
8 serving 6. Back row set, that's Ruddins, dug up by a Q over the net. Here's Owenge on the slide block. Did it get over the tape? No, it did not. 4-hit violation against the Gauchos, and Hawaii surges ahead and in fact forces Nicole Lantane-Welsh, head coach for the Gauchos, to signal for a timeout. Welcome back. Let's go inside the numbers presented by Heineken. 70 is the number. That's the number of hitting attempts for UC Santa Barbara junior Lindsey Ruddins when these two teams first met up in California earlier this month. Yes, 70 attempts. She ended up with 16 kills, hit .043. In what is certainly by her standards a struggle of a performance, but 70 swings.
You gotta start wondering how's her shoulder doing after all of those swings.
Glasker blasted through the block and down, so a well-used timeout there by Nicole Lantane-Welsh. You know, interestingly enough, it's not the shoulder that the Gauchos have to be worried about with Lindsey Ruddins. Prior to that match against Hawaii on October 5th, she injured her left wrist during warm-ups. She was trying to dig up a ball and got her hand caught under her on the court as Skylar Williams is denied access by Owenge. But she had to heavily tape up that wrist. She appeared to be in a lot of pain, was grimacing significantly. Well, she went on to play that match and went on to swing 70 times. It is her opposite hand, of course, but it is still, to this day, even tonight, heavily wrapped on that left side.
It is, and you know, she's got to be incredibly grateful that it's her left wrist, not her right wrist. And it wasn't as if she was hitting or doing anything. She injured it herself. Hawaii players going after her hand, actually trying to hit into her hand on purpose.
Well, you got to do what you got to do, right? Rico Aquino with the serve. The slide goes to Charlie Robinson. Pinball action by Hawaii, and they return it. Owenge dug up by a Q to the net. And we're going to have a violation against Hawaii. A 4-hit violation, and so UCSB back within a digit.
And Q doing a great job in that backcourt, getting her hands on lots of balls back there. Again, both of these teams matching up very well defensively.
Glasker with the serve. You'll see it goes high and away to McKenna Granato, dug up by Petrocchi. Here's Ruddins. Such a high point of contact. Obviously, you can't teach height, but she also gets some spring off of the floor for sure.
She definitely does, and she sees the court so well. The set, perfect to the hitting shoulder. She gets up, she hits high off the hands.
Serve into the net. It feels like Ruddins been around for a while. Still just a redshirt junior from Laguna Niguel, California. Granted a medical redshirt season in 2015. That was her true freshman year, or at least would have been. And so she's been in the program now 4 years. It seems like she's been around even longer just because of the production.
And it's almost unfair, if you will. She's got an older sister who played at USC and a younger sister actually on this team that contributes as a freshman when she gets the opportunity.
That's right, Gigi Ruddins. We'll see if we possibly see her at some point in this match. Granato with a good crack off the block. Janelle Gong back to serve. It was a big moment last night for Hawaii's 14th point in that 5th set against Cal Poly, where she dug up a ball that went over the net and down. It was one of those proverbial dig kills. Almost got one there too. Ruddins blocked in roof. Natasha Burns saying, oh no you don't.
And Natasha Burns again leading the team in blocks, but that all happened from Janelle Gong digging that first ball Great first serve, and then came in and dug a ball.
Wahine in the middle. That time, Gong couldn't conjure up a save. And a point for UC Santa Barbara.
But sometimes those broken plays are the ones that can change the energy and the emotion on the team. And this is a game of emotion, as we saw last night.
Saw a lot of saves, a lot of defense the first time these two teams met. A combined 169 digs in that 5-set affair. That was won ultimately by Hawaii on October 5th. Burns blocked back. They're going to go outside now to McKenna. Here's Ruddins on the outside. The block got a piece. A cue with the save. Yosia outside the Granato off the tape and out. No touch by that Gaucho block.
This is the time when Hawaii's digging great balls and they want to put the pressure on UCSB and make the transition plays. Unforced errors like that are unfortunate, but those are the big plays that will continue to help this team.
Hawaii flatlining it right now as a team. UCSB on the other side hitting 0-33. Robinson, Charlie Robinson, a 6-foot junior from Pacific Palisades, California, has spent much of the previous 2 seasons at outside hitter and opposite hitter, even though she's listed as also a middle hitter.
And she seems to be finding her place on the right side of the court this evening, and that's where they've been using her the past few matches.
Gaskin caught that one fat, and all of a sudden the Gauchos jump in front.
And again, an unforced error, a great set, isolation. She had one blocker on her, and she hit it out. Hawaii's struggling a little bit offensively right now.
Yeah, into the negative numbers they go after that hitting error. Yosia highballs it out to Granato. Great dig, tight to the net, and easy pickings there for Natasha Burns.
And Natasha Burns just keeping that ball in play, not trying to swing at it. And you saw the communication there between her and Angel Gaskin at the front. Natasha taking that ball.
Burns made her presence felt last night. 11 kills at 381. Also had 6 blocks. 3 of those were solo style.
And her presence was known at critical times last night. She
That's
really
true.
made big plays at critical times.
Ma'afala sends it long. That breaks what was the 7th tie of this opening frame.
And that just goes to show again how evenly these two teams continue to match up.
So here's Zoe Fleck, another frosh on the roster with the serve. Perfect pass there by Okino. Granato, the block hadn't quite formed, but Glasgow was able to pop it up in the air. Free ball coming here for Hawaii. Ma'afala goes outside to Yosia, and she tools the block, and Hawaii draws even.
And Yosia tooling the block, hitting off the smaller hands of Olivia Levenberg, the 5'8" freshman. A perfect set by Faith Ma'afala.
Yosia was just 1 kill shy of what would have been her 5th triple-double of the season last night.
They should have said her one more time. She knew the stats, she might have called for it.
Nice job there defensively by Hawaii. Ennis, a second time on the slide, dug up by Granato. Advantage, Lady Bows, but Burns hits it into the net.
And the transition play again, some great defense, trying to run the middle. Great idea. Another unforced error.
And so here is the dangerous Lindsay Ruddins now behind the service line. Perfect pass there by Aq. Ross, that was heavy-handed.
Ross bringing some serious heat to that ball. You could hear the bang.
I mean, her role has been now established as that of the energizer, right? When in need of a spark, in comes McKenna Ross, getting her first start of the season tonight, though, Lisa.
Absolutely, and you know, Coach Robin Amos Santos has continued to go to her as like that 7th player, if you will, with Casey Castillo being out with this injury. McKenna Ross earning the starting position tonight.
We've had 4 lead changes in this first set. Serve goes into the twine, an ill-timed service error, and we are even Steven at 17 apiece.
So in this side-out situation, Hawaii going to this 2-person serve, 3-person serve receive. They'll actually have McKenna Ross also passing.
Lexi Rotman, senior from right there in Santa Barbara with the serve. Mafala backside to Yosia, had to adjust the approach, and then she hit it into the pin. So a point for the Gauchos. They're up 18-17.
And Lexi Rotman, one of the 3 seniors on the team, used specifically for defensive and serving specialist purposes.
Mafala outside to Ross. And she's feeling a nice little groove right now.
She sure is. You know, the more opportunities you get, the more comfortable you get. And I think McKenna Ross has come in off the bench so many times to spark her team, but this time she gets to start in there and stay in there.
5'10" junior from Aliso Viejo, California. Had 8 kills on 29 swings with 2 blocks last night. And she, again, just brought a little bit more electricity for that Hawaii side of the net. That set to the middle to Nicole Owenge was not a true connection, and Hawaii vaults back into the lead. Take a look at Nicole Lantane-Welsh, head coach for UC Santa Barbara. Owenge dug up there by Yosia. Back bump set to Ross, through the block and down. McKenna Ross now with 4 kills, blemish free.
In 7 attempts, she's doing her job out there.
And a timeout taken by the Gauchos, so we'll take a break as well. Hawaii up 2.
This presentation of Rainbow Wahine Volleyball is sponsored by Bank of Hawaii and Hawaii Honda Dealers.
Welcome back to the Stan Sheriff Center. McKenna Ross leading the way, leading all attackers in this match so far with 4 kills. Hawaii up 2 out of the timeout. Back row set goes to Ruddins, dug up by Granato over the net, and Glasker oh so gently places it down for the point.
And so far, Lindsay Ruddins with 2 kills and 12 attempts has really not been a huge factor for both hitting in the negative percentages right now.
And that serve goes long from Lovenberg. So Hawaii up 21-19. And it will be Rika Okino in and back to serve for the Rainbow Wahine. 6 aces on the year. Has played in every match for UH this season. Floats one deep, and it's an ace! Go figure!
And you have to think, was she a little bit lucky on that play as 2 players collide on the jump float, which very easily could have been out. Talking to her prior, she says she's really got to work and has been working very hard on serving more effectively.
Glasker on the outside, blocked en route. The door was slammed shut by Angel Gaskin and Skylar Williams.
And Skylar Williams, again, making her presence known at the net. Huge blocking presence. Last night came in and had some critical blocks, but really doing a nice job. And in the timeout, you could see her talking with Angelica Lindquist regarding the blocking hand positions.
Well, in a match last night where Hawaii was outblocked 19-11, and in need of sort of trying to establish its own block on its side, Skylar Williams obliged as Gigi Ruddins, the younger sister of Lindsay, now onto the floor, gets in the stat book with the kill there and gets the point for UCSB. But it was Rabanamo Santos trying to find the right combination, calling upon Skylar Williams, and it immediately paid dividends.
It sure did. She came in and made a huge impact. I think her and Janelle Gong were complete game changers, and without them inserted into the lineup, that game could have went either.
Yeah, you're right. Throw McKenna Ross into that mix as well. We have learned Rabanamo Santos not shy, not hesitant to make a change if she feels like it is necessary. Here's Lindsay Ruddins. That's dug up by a Q. Outside, it's Granato. That was a flowing swing as she came swooping in. And it's a aloha ball for Hawaii in set 1.
And McKenna Granato doing a nice job powering through the big block there for her 2nd kill on the evening.
And here is Janelle Gong now to serve, 5'9" sophomore from Moraga, California, out of Campolindo High School. Step out goes to Robinson off the block, kept alive by Gaskin. You'll see it was on her knees, got up, sets up Granato. And now the Gauchos trying to return, and they do. You'll see it will set up Gaskin, 2 blockers up, and they had her eclipsed.
There was absolutely no approach on that. She was under the ball, and that was a huge block. They call that the green light, yellow light, red light. That was a red light. You don't go. You don't swing at that pace with that huge of a block.
That was a law enforcement blockade. Forget the red light. And that's going to be an ace. So all of a sudden, Emilia Petracchi gets the Gauchos within 2, and Robin Amos Santos wants to talk things over with her team.
Well,
so it remains aloha ball for Hawaii.
And you know, inside out in rally scoring, that's an easy. All they got to do is side out, pass one ball and get through the block. But I like the timeout because it puts pressure on Emilia Petracchi to get back there and serve over and in the court. That's what it does. Just slowing things down. That's all it does.
Yeah, it's similar to icing the kicker in football or icing the free throw shooter in basketball. It's the way to maybe make her think a little bit more here as this serve is coming up. I don't imagine it will affect a senior like Emilia Petracchi as much as maybe it would another player. She has been through some college volleyball experiences. This is her 107th consecutive match played.
She's the real deal. She's been the defensive player of the week 3 times. She leads the Big West in digs. She's a foreigner. She's the first foreigner on a Gaucho team, volleyball team, in over 15 years. And she's earned it. Got some experience behind her.
You know, she's riding that streak. On the other side, unfortunately, Casey Castillo, we mentioned, not medically cleared to play tonight, so she is on the sideline, and that breaks her streak. She had put together 48 straight starts on her side. So a streak that comes to an end in her senior campaign. We hope certainly that whatever it is not serious enough to keep her out for an extended period of time.
Let's hope so, because this team would sure like to have Casey Castillo contributing on the court.
For sure. Here's Gaskin, solo blocker against her. It's dug up by Glasker. Ruddins then goes off the fingertips of the block. Burns pushes it over the net. UCSB in control. They go to Ruddins off the block, punched up in the air by Aq. Bump set to Granato, but she lasers it wide, and it's a point for UCSB. They're within 1. It remains aloha ball.
Hawaii doing some great things defensively. Good blocking. Tita Aq in the backcourt with some great defense.
It was 24-20. Can Hawaii finish the deal? Granato blocked and roofed. And UCSB fights off 4 set points to draw even. And we effectively start over here. First 1 to 2.
That's right. And Hawaii's struggling a little bit. They just need to take that deep breath, relax, and trust that they can swing against the big block.
Good pass there by Okino. Burns in the middle. Too hot to handle, even for the prized libero, Emilia Petracchi.
And you gotta like that they went to the middle. Got Natasha Burns back involved. She's not been super active. So far, that's her 2nd kill in 7 attempts tonight.
Got to get that pass, though, and they got it from Okino on that sequence. So Faith Ma'afala now serving for set 1. Down the line and long. 25 all.
Back to the first server for UCSB. This is how we started the match. It's like you're right back there at 0-0 almost, but in a game to 2.
Fleck with the serve. Ma'afala goes backside. Here's Granato, double block up. She goes right by it. Point for Hawaii. And yeah, certainly the atmosphere in here not quite as lit as it was last night. Everyone knew what was riding on that match against Cal Poly. But the crowd now starting to turn up the volume knob a little bit here. They can see the home team needing a little bit of a push.
Definitely, they can see that these two teams are aligned very evenly. Good long rallies.
Ruddins rises high and then hammers it hard angle to the opposite sideline. That is Lindsey Rudden's second kill of this opening set.
Still hitting in the negative. Out of 16 attempts, she's had 2 kills. That's a compliment to Hawaii's block and defense.
Oh, she is now back behind the line to serve. A dangerous server. Good pass there by Q. Here's Ross against the double block. Those high hands. Rudden's the save. Pinballed around in return. Ma'afala with choices. Goes backside to Yosia. Dug up by Ruddens. Petrocchi setting up the younger Ruddens, Gigi, and she goes through the block and down, and it is now Aloha ball in set 1 for the Gauchos. A timeout taken by Robin Amos Santos.
And Hawaii just struggling putting that last ball down. The block, that's a smart play by Gigi. Rudden's there, but I like the timeout. Slowing down, putting in some strategy. Make your game plan.
Well, that last point here of this opening frame proving to be very difficult indeed. Hawaii was up 24-20, seemingly ready to send this one to set 2 and take the early match lead, but instead they're now going to have to fight off a set point here by the Gauchos. This first pass off of this coming serve is what it comes down to, right?
Absolutely, and this is the type of volleyball that is constantly mimicked in the gym, if you will. They play this, they add up A team against B team, and this is what they do. It's called side-out volleyball. And Hawaii has been very good at side-out volleyball. It's the unforced errors.
Need tickets to an upcoming UH contest? Well, visit hawaiiathletics.com, call 944-BOWS, or visit the Stan Sheriff Center box office. 3 easy ways to get your seats for exciting UH sports action. Is there, at some point, any concern after a marathon match like last night? We're playing extra points here in this opening frame here tonight. The fatigue factor on the Hawaii side of the net.
Well, I think absolutely. There's got to be some mental fatigue as well, not only physical. I mean, that was a long, emotional roller coaster of a match last night. There were highs, there were lows, and then when you win, you're so high. Like Dave Soji talked about in the pregame. It's a tough one.
Lindsey Ruddens to serve. Pass was an overpass, but Ennis wasn't able to get it over the net, so Hawaii now with it on the attack. Here's Yosia by the double block. Diving save there by Fleck. Gigi Ruddens pounds it down, and UC Santa Barbara comes from behind. Fights off 4 straight Hawaii set points to take the opening frame. 28-26. Hawaii will have to once again grind it out. Welcome back. Let's check out the first Hawaiian Bank top 3. Big West digs per set. Amelia Petrocchi for UCSB is atop the list. Tita Q of Hawaii is in that number 3 position. So you're talking about 2 of the elite liberos, not only in this conference, but I would suggest in the Western region. And they are putting in work tonight.
They definitely are, and they're both actually tied at 9 digs apiece in that set 1, contributing defensively for both of their teams respectively. And what a blessing Tita Q has been. Taking a look at some highlights here from Amelia Petrocchi, the 5'6" libero out of Modena, Italy. Digging all over the place. He is UCSB's all-time dig record holder for UCSB.
That's right. Set that UCSB career digs mark earlier this month. So now she's just adding to it here the rest of the way.
And Santa Barbara's always been known for its defense as well as Hawaii. They've both been very defensive teams.
Well, and that seems to bear itself out in the hitting percentages for both sides. It was fairly anemic, I'd say. 0.45 for Hawaii, 0.82 for UC Santa Barbara. Obviously, both coaching staffs would like to see those numbers elevated.
Well, speaking about even numbers, Lindsey Rudden's hitting at 0.00, the go-to girl, and McKenna Granato hitting at 0.00, the go-to girl. So both go-to girls just non-productive offensively in that first set.
You imagine that won't continue to be the case as this match progresses. And the middle set goes to Ennis off of 1 foot, and it just trickles over the tape and down on the Hawaii side of the floor. So UCSB fended off 6 total set points in that opening frame against Hawaii to pull it out 28-26.
And I think we're in for another long evening.
It's kind of the feeling you get, right, as Granato just touches it over. Outside it's Ruddins by the double block, dug up by Faith Ma'afala. So a cue, back bump set to Yosia. Sends it long. Was there a touch? No touch. Point for UC Santa Barbara. And right now, certainly the body language on the Hawaii side of the net would lead you to believe they're in need of something.
They definitely are. They're struggling a little bit. They may be a little bit physically tired as well, not just mentally from last night's action.
Well, that'll help as the crowd is able to cheer on that Natasha Burns smackdown.
Natasha Burns doing a nice job in the middle, going hard still. Out in front, hitting at 250. Actually, McKenna Ross is out in front, hitting at 444 right now.
There's Granato with the serve into the net. Talking with Robin and the rest of the coaching staff prior to the match, asked them, you know, what made that first match against UC Santa Barbara, that first meeting on October 5th, you know, what was it about them that created such difficulty for you guys? As Ruddins responds with a service error of their own. And they all agreed. They said, well, it was probably more what we did to ourselves in that Santa Barbara match. And that's kind of been a theme that Robin Amos Santos has adopted here throughout is, you know, when this team, when this Hawaii squad is taking care of its business on its side of the net and cleaning up its act, that usually portends good things. It's less about what the other team, at least at times this year, has done. Case in point right there as Yosia hits it into the twine.
Absolutely, it's self-inflicted. She has talked and talked about her team and is trying to get the culture to grow, to take responsibility of their jobs, their roles. She gives them each a role, and this is what your job is. And if they take care of that, she strongly believes they will win.
Out serve, so Hawaii within 1. Gaskin will come into the front row. Ma'afala to the bench, and Yosia getting ready to serve. Yosia with 3 aces last night. And a whole host of other serves or instances where she forced bad passes. Right on cue.
Right on cue. You were all over that call. Keep doing that.
Here's Ruddins. Blocked and roofed. Skylar and Angel.
And I think that was really all Skylar on that play, but Angel Gaskin setting up that block. Skylar Williams getting all the way out, closing. Huge block by her.
Yeah, pretty wide span there on that block, just on the Skylar Williams end of it. We're knotted at 4. Here's Ruddins from the back row. Skylar got a piece of that one. Great chase down by Granato, and a cue returns it. Crowd applauses the effort. And then Gigi Ruddins plugs it through the block and down. So all of this expectation, all of the talk about Lindsay Ruddins, the special player and hitter that she has been throughout her career, all of that is true, but it is the other Ruddins here so far tonight that has been providing quite a challenge for this Rainbow Wahine block.
She really has. She's got 4 kills on the evening so far, and she's come in and made a big difference for the Gauchos.
That time, though, hard angle, couldn't get it over the net. And so Hawaii benefits and draws even at 5.
And Gigi's had a good mentor. She's watched her sister along the way, and you know, the sister-sister thing is pretty cool when you think that they get the opportunity to play together.
Well, and the even older sister, Elise, who played at USC. Here's Lindsay off of 1 leg. The dig there in the back row. And Granato goes off the block and down. Solid dig by McKenna Ross, leading to the McKenna-Granato kill for the Hawaii point.
McKenna to McKenna.
Yeah. The true Mac attack. Six serving 5. Here it is from Ross. Outside, Gigi Ruddins took a little something off, hitting into that imposing block.
It's almost like a tip shot, but not really a tip roll. She drops her elbow at the very last minute and actually uses the block. She sees a very well-formed block. That's a smart play.
So Gigi Ruddins, who has played sparingly here throughout this season, now leading all attackers with 5 kills, hitting .429. Outside set not on the mark, and so a free chance here for the Gauchos. Oh, but their set wasn't on the mark either, so Hawaii now on the attack. Here's Gaskin. May have jumped a smidge too early, but it is an in call. Line judge signaled out. The top official, Miley Jukes, who is atop the ladder for the 2nd straight night, she overruled it and called it in.
Well, she's got a little bit of a better angle. If you really look at where she's standing and where the linesman is, sometimes they just have to do that.
Jukes the R1, Dixon Chun the R2. Line judges Wes Kawachi and Mark Nakashima. Here's Yosia. Bump set to Granato. Good dig there by Petrocchi. Lindsay Ruddins didn't get a good run up. And the dig along the back line by Ross. Here's Granato again. And that one had some extra oomph behind it. Hawaii up 2.
Granato putting in some heat on that. Serious heat on that ball.
Janelle Gong with the ace.
And Janelle Gong's getting more and more confident from that back line. You know, she came in, the first time I saw her serve, I think she looked like deer in the headlights. Seriously, she had so much fear, but she's been given opportunities and she is making things happen.
Backside, they tried to go step out to Robinson. Wasn't quite timed to perfection. Here's Gaskin from off the net. She got blocked, but she scoops it up herself, and then Burns mishandles the set. So a point for the Gauchos. You know, you're right about Janelle Gong because, you know, all of the younger defensive specialists here, and there are only 3 this year, the fewest defensive specialists that Hawaii's had since 2004. But you can't help but, as unfortunate an idea and thought as it is, you can't help but look forward to next year when Tita Q, who is a senior transfer, when she is out with her eligibility, who is going to step into that primary libero role, and obviously Janelle Gong and Rico Okino are the 2 prime candidates, at least currently on the roster.
Yeah, and she's going to need that time. I mean, you're just building your team potentially for next year. Get her some confidence, get her some reps.
All right, so we have a challenge here from Robin Amos Santos, looking for a touch on the net on the UCSB side. So this is Gaskin trying to tap it over, and was there a touch there by Nicole Owenge? See if the net cam can shed a better light. It doesn't appear as though there was. She did touch the ball at that last moment, and the ball made contact with the tape, which is why you saw it shake a little bit. I don't see any fingers, though, coming into the net.
Definitely looks like the ball came down on top of the net and it juggled the net just a little bit. So I could see how that would be looked at, possibly the player netting. Again, the challenge, you get 3 challenges. And we talked about this last night, NCAA says the average challenge is, do you remember how long it takes?
A minute and a half.
Yep.
I think we actually got under a minute and a half this time from Dixon.
I think they beat it.
So basically the call stands. It is a point for UC Santa Barbara, so no change on the scoreboard. It is 7 serving 9, and here is Petrocchi. Remember, she put together that strong service run at the end of the first frame. And the Gauchos were able to take control. Here's Granato, dug up by Glasker, beautifully done. Middle set to Ennis was just dinked over. Burns does the same. Here's Ruddins. Pinballed around, and it won't be returned. So Lindsay Ruddins with the kill. That was a lot of disarray on both sides of the net in that sequence.
Lots of broken plays, and again, you're going to see that Lindsay Ruddins swinging away there for her 3rd kill in 23 attempts.
8 serving 9. Hawaii out of system. Here's Gaskin, the set too tight to the net. And so Amelia Petrocchi Her ace numbers aren't enormous, 10 aces individually on the season, but she is causing some issues in the serve-receive game for Hawaii.
She really is, and she's going after McKenna Ross on purpose. The coaching staff singling out McKenna Ross to go to her. They know that she is a newer player on the court.
And then Lindsay Ruddens, don't let her start to get into a rhythm. Struggled a bit in that opening set, but all of a sudden it's UCSB climbing ahead.
Let's see if Tita Q slides over a little bit more and possibly will take this ball.
Instead, it's Granato with the first touch. Gaskin tried to find the deep corner, sent it long, no touch, and the Gauchos are up 2.
Gaskin struggling from that side right now. Again, more unforced errors, just giving points away.
Yeah, right now Gaskin 1 kill on 7 swings, 3 errors, hitting -286. He's coming off of a career high, tying 12 kills last night against Cal Poly. And you'll see it came into the net. And it is starting to fall apart for Hawaii, trailing by 3, and a sarcastic smile from Robin Amo Santos as he signals for a timeout. Welcome back. The Jack Fact is UCSB and Hawaii 5-0. Tonight's match between the Gauchos and Rainbow Wahine is the 50th in the series. The teams first played in 1974, which was the inaugural season for both programs.
Seems like a long time ago.
That's right. Here's Granato. Oh, she climbed the ladder that time. And Hawaii, a much-needed point out of the timeout. That breaks a 6-0 run.
And Hawaii really just needs to stay focused and believe in what they can do right now.
And here is Kirsten Sibley into the match for Noreen Yosia.
And Yosia was struggling a little bit offensively. In 9 attempts, she had 1 kill, hitting -333.
Slide goes to Robinson. It's going to be a mishandle on the set by Lovenberg, and that gets Nicole Lantane-Welsh up off the bench.
She says you got to call it on the other team, too.
That's exactly what she is trying to say, asking the officials to call it, quote, consistently. Ruddens pass tight to the net. She gets the set, the dink, sniffed out by Ma'afala. A Q, back row bump set to Ross. 3 blockers up. And I'm not sure she even got it over the top of the tape. She did not.
Yeah. McKenna Ross staying into the backcourt to create an offensive threat in the backcourt. She does a nice job normally. That set a little low for her, so she crossed the line and took that heavy swing.
13 serving 11. Ross 2-hand pass that time. Burns in the middle. Well, when they have gotten the pass on target, they've been able to work that middle set to Natasha Burns, and it has worked.
And that's Faith Ma'afala and Natasha Burns have a really good connection going. And you're right, when that first pass is on target, they should try to set her as often as they can.
Slide. That's Ennis off the block. Here's Burns again. Why not?
Why not? Keep feeding her. She's going to have success, and she's leading the team. Well, almost leading the team in kills. That's her 5th kill on the evening. Feed the fire. Feed the fuel.
Renato with the serve. Pass there by Glasker. Outside, Lindsay Ruddens. And that just looked too easy.
Definitely has some hops flying through the air.
Was a Big West first team selection last year. Led the nation with 5.84 kills per set. Going back to even her redshirt freshman year when she was a first team all-conference freshman of the year, and even an AVCA All-American honorable mention. Diving save by Granato. Ross from off the net is blocked and roofed. Rowan Ennis, the team leader in that category, who had 12 kills and 6 of those in the first meeting against Hawaii, returns it to sender.
Some great diving defense by McKenna Granato in that backcourt on that play.
They are attacking McKenna Ross in serve receive. But she says attack that as she blasts it into the back row.
And sometimes that's the best. All she has to do is look at the server and say, keep serving me, and then set me, and I'm going to show you. I might be undersized, but I am going to show you that I belong out here. And so far tonight, she has definitely proven that.
Again, McKenna Ross getting the start here tonight, first of the season in place of Casey Castillo, not medically cleared to suit up here tonight. Kirsten Sibley getting in on that block. That is her second block this entire season.
Well, she's doubled it then.
That's right. Had just one coming into this match. Here's Gigi Ruddins, block out a piece, diving save a cue. Skylar Williams in the middle.
And that's the middle attack that I think this team really needs to keep going back to because it seems to be efficient.
Timeout, UC Santa Barbara. Hawaii up 1 in the second. Welcome back. Time now for the Akamai Roofing Report. This is the latest number for Hawaii, including tonight's action. They have 5 total team blocks, 107 for the Rainbow Wahine this season. As we return to live action, Hawaii up 1 out of the timeout. Gigi Ruddins dug up by Granato. She'll get the set from the back row. Sends it out. So a point for UC Santa Barbara. There was an interesting exchange in the Santa Barbara huddle as you see sort of a somewhat teary-eyed, red-faced Lindsay Ruddins. She appeared to be experiencing a huge amount of discomfort with that left wrist, which is heavily taped. Got it retaped by the trainer as Williams goes off the block and down. But she is in severe pain. Remember, that's the wrist that she essentially injured during warm-ups prior to the Hawaii match in California back on October 5th.
Yeah, and she has, you know, she is so strong-willed. She went off the side, and you could see that she was in a lot of pain, and she went right over to the trainer. They taped her up, and she was not going to sit down on that bench. She was going back out.
17 serving 16, the serve by Okino. Middle set, and that is Owenge. But she misses wide, point for Hawaii, and it makes you possibly appreciate what Lindsay Ruddins has done here in recent weeks even more, playing through this pain.
And there you see her reaching out with her left hand, a one-arm attempted dig off of McKenna Ross's swing that had some serious heat on it.
Free chance here for Hawaii. Outside, Ross. Oh, she jumped off a trampoline that time, but the block got a piece. Here's Gigi Ruddins off the block and out. So a point for the Gauchos. But again, you're talking about Lindsay Ruddins, who is the reigning Big West Conference Player of the Week for the 4th time this season. And if a play like that, as innocuous as it appeared, can lead to that level of discomfort, imagine what she is experiencing on a daily basis, night in and night out.
It must be a lot of pain, and I'll tell you what, she's probably going to play through it no matter what because it's her left hand.
A dig by Petrocchi, and that's going to be a point for UC Santa Barbara. They're going to say that Ma'afala came over the net to touch the volleyball. Faith disagrees.
And that's an interesting call because what you're going to notice is that Noreen Iosia is not on the court right now.
And that overpass allowed Owenge to beat Ma'afala at the net in the joust. Does Faith Ma'afala touch that volleyball? Question is, Lisa, does she even need to make an attempt to touch that volleyball? It doesn't look like there was contact possibly. But she put herself in a pretty precarious situation nonetheless.
Yeah, she's going after the ball, but that's a quick instinct move. And sometimes you just go up with it. Unfortunately, she got called on it. Robin Amos Santos chose not to challenge it. So obviously, the call is going to stick.
I mean, this has been seesaw-like really from the get-go. And remember, rewind back to the way set 1 ended when Hawaii had it 24-20. Serving for the set, unable to shut the door. In fact, UCSB fought off 6 set points en route to the 28-26 victory in that opening frame. And here they are, up 1 in the second. Let's check in with Ryan Kalei-Suji. Ryan.
Well, Hawaii now switching to a 5-1 offense with Faith Ma'afala now running the offense with Noreen Sia on the bench as well as Angel Gaskin. Both players traditionally would do a double sub and come into the front end backcourt. However, Yosia as well as Gaskin not performing up to the par that Robin Amos Santos is requesting of her two players, and she's actually going with Faith Ma'afala in a 5-1 offense. Back over to you guys.
All right, let's talk about how that changes the dynamic. Obviously, just having Faith at 5'8" in the front row, it's going to change the blocking scheme considerably.
Absolutely, but I think the move is, again, Dave Shoji talked about this earlier, pushing buttons. When things aren't happening, you've got to make some changes. And Noreen Iosia was struggling offensively, Gaskin struggling. She has a lot of faith, no pun intended, in Faith Ma'afala, and I think Faith can hold her own in the front court.
Here she is setting outside to McKenna Ross, blocked and roofed by Owenge. And it just proves that Robin Amos Santos, the way she approaches this match or in-match coaching philosophy, the way she approaches this thing is nobody is safe. If you're not performing, there is no reason why you may not come out of the match.
Right. She says, I want you to do your job.
Gigi Ruddins, got the benefit of tickling the tape. And now we're going to see the subs come back in as Angel Gaskin and Noreen Iosia come back into the match.
Well, she's got to slow things down. Instead of using a timeout, she's got to change it back to where it was. Hopefully that little break gave them the opportunity to refresh, take a look, and come back in and help their team.
So 21 serving 18. Iosia with the bump set to Ross, touches it deep. Back bump set goes to Gigi Ruddins, diving save Iosia. Williams sets up Ross, who two-hands it into the deep corner.
And that's just a smart play. You know, she bettered the ball. Not a great set, not a great opportunity. She took a sneak peek and put it where nobody was. That's called the set kill. Not the bump kill or the dig kill, the set kill.
We've seen it all here this weekend. Slide goes to Robinson off the block. One-hand save, a cue, but nobody had her back. Point for Santa Barbara.
A cue getting a one-hand save here, flying it out. Just nobody there to help her.
Cue the crowd again. Gauchos by 3. Iosia sets up Gaskin off the block and down.
And you gotta like that she went to Angel Gaskin on that play. Hawaii had established their middles. UCSB jumping with the middle, so setting up Gaskin for a nice opportunity.
And that brings Burns back into the front row. Good things have happened for Hawaii when Burns has been in that middle position. Janelle Gong with the serve, has to get it in, she does. Set outside, Lindsay Ruddins off the fingertips of the block, dug up by Ross. Outside, it's Granato. High hands, kept alive there by the setter, Lovenberg. Here's Ruddins again. Dug up by Granato. Played off the net by Burns. And it drops to the floor. A point for UCSB. They're up 3 here, 23-20.
And this is a good rotation for Hawaii right now. Let's see if they go back after McKenna Ross on the serving.
Petrocchi with the serve. Goes right at Ross. You'll see it with the bump set. Granato from off the net. Diving save, Petrocchi. Middle set to Ennis. Punched back over the net. Here's the slide to Robinson between the double block. Here's Gaskin. And she is denied at the net. An emphatic stuff. And Lindsay Ruddins, who seems to be both smiling, celebrating, and wincing in pain, because that was all the left hand there on that block.
Oh, Gaskin tried to go tool the block on that last play and hit a heavy ball.
Aloha ball for the Gauchos in set 2. Here's Gaskin off the block and out.
And Lindsay Ruddins turning around and just constantly saying, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine.
She is putting together a gutsy performance, and you imagine that this must not be the first evening that she's experienced that kind of pain within the match. Here she is. Good dig there by a cue. Here's Burns in the middle. They needed it. They got it. Hawaii within 2.
Natasha Burns again getting off the net, exploding quickly with her 6th kill on the evening.
Well, Hawaii was up 24-20 in the first set. It was Santa Barbara up 24-20 here in the second. Consecutive points for the Rainbow Wahine, cueing a timeout by the Gauchos.
Well, maybe a little bit of reverse psychology here. Timeout, make some plans, and hang in here for this next few points.
What do you see as having been so far the biggest hindrance for Hawaii? Is it in serve receive? Is it in another element of the game?
I think right now for Hawaii, a lot of it is their hitting. They're hitting at 132 right now, and their go-to players, McKenna Granato, she's just hitting at 083, but earlier they just didn't have enough offense. That's my personal opinion of it. They just couldn't, they were making too many unforced errors. That's how I see it. Gaskin, Norini Asia, those two players, and McKenna Ross is doing a nice job, but she's still hitting at 167. Need a little bit more. Oh, they've got to be hitting at least in the 200s, in my personal opinion. And also the blocking. You'd like to see Hawaii have a few more blocks.
Yeah, right now being outblocked 6-5 by the Gauchos. You mentioned the percentages for the match. Hawaii at 0.85 compared to 129 for UCSB. It remains aloha ball in this second set for the Gauchos. (22) serving 24. Gotta get it in. Step out, goes to Ennis. And she finishes set number 2. And the Gauchos are up 2-0. So the night following Hawaii's signature victory over Cal Poly, they are in danger of being swept off their home floor. Welcome back. All right, let's take a look at the McDonald's match statistics. What do you think of some of these numbers, Lisa?
Well, again, we look at the hitting percentages. That really does jump out as Hawaii is very low on the kill percentage. Blocks not a huge factor because it's almost even. Digs, Hawaii out digging UC Santa Barbara. Kills very even and attempts almost very even. I think the biggest difference, again, jumps out at me is the kill percentage and the unforced errors.
It seems as though Hawaii is on the verge of possibly experiencing what was the greatest fear coming into this match, and that was that there would be a bit of a letdown coming off of the emotional triumph of that 5-set win over Cal Poly last night. What the Rainbow Wahine do not want to do is waste that win, right? They gave themselves, at the very least, by virtue of that victory over the Mustangs, a possibility of winning the conference and getting an automatic bid into the NCAA tournament. A loss less than 24 hours later would prove to be probably insurmountable when it comes to their postseason hopes.
It sure would. And during their little break there, you could see Faith Ma'afala talking to the team and sharing with them and trying to encourage and push them forward, motivating them.
Well, that'll help as Granato pumps the fist as she was in on that block with Burns against Lindsay Ruddens.
And I think really what you're going to see is that the coaching staff is going to have to make a few changes here, push some more buttons, if you will. I'm hoping that they insert Sarah Leva into the lineup because I think that she really has some great energy and has done a nice job for this team.
That might be a good call. We'll see. Natasha Burns in the middle, providing some offense. And we're seeing a spark and a little surge of energy from the Rainbow Wahine hitter start set 3.
And the pattern of this team all season long seems to have been that they start a little slow. And then they find their energy and they find their rhythm.
Much to the chagrin of the coaching staff, I'm sure. Here's Ennis on the slide. Rowan Ennis received a medical red shirt last season after suffering a season-ending injury 8 matches in.
Born in Scotland, out of all places. She's played in 80 sets this season.
1 serving 2, Ruddens with the serve. And Hawaii on the chase. They have to resort to sending a free ball the Gauchos' way. Slide, Ennis off the block, saved by a cue. Ma'afala goes middle to Burns off of one leg, diving save Petrocchi. outside, and that's Gigi Ruddins, dug up by Granato. Backside, here's Yosia. Misses wide, tried to go line. Spread that fan a little too much.
Petrocchi playing some unbelievable defense again, reading it like a book. Not only good defense, but she digs to the target so that they can run their transition balls.
Both liberos in double figures and digs. How about that pass by a Q? Ross off the block, punched up in the air by Fleck. Ruddins gets blocked. Here's Lindsay Ruddins from the back row. Wow, that was smoking. Mahavala couldn't come up with the save.
Lindsay Ruddin seems to have dried up those tears and seems a little bit more composed. She was in a lot of pain earlier.
Three serving two, into the net it goes. And we will, in fact, see Sarah Leva now enter into the front row. So just what you were suggesting, Lisa, seems to be the call for Robin Amos Santos. We'll see.
And it has been a revolving door for the middles on this team so far this season.
Yeah, just kind of going with the hot hand, night in and night out. Leva got a good chunk of that, but it goes off the block and out. And you're talking about Sarah Leva, who's averaging over 2 kills per set. She's second, at least coming into this week, second in the Big West Conference in hitting percentage. And so she is most surely an offensive weapon when she has it going for this Hawaii squad.
Absolutely, and that all starts with a good pass, but she has done a nice job for the team. And you gotta give her a little grace here because she's been sitting for two sets so far. She's just been inserted.
Solo stuff by Nicola Wenge. You know, in her varsity career at Claremont High School in Claremont, California, she recorded 101 solo blocks. So add to the list. Here's Leva, gets blocked back again and roofed again. That's back-to-back roofs.
But you can see that Faith Mahafala is trying to establish her middle and get Sarah Leva involved in the offense really quickly. She may not go back to her again after 2 consecutive blocks.
It is 6 serving 3 in the third. And that's an ace. A shank by Noreen Yosia. And right now, the Rainbow Wahine are reeling. Timeout, Robin Amos Santos. All right, let's check out how it works, presented by Central Pacific Bank. Lisa.
Well, here you take a quick look at McKenna Ross that we just circled for you. Great defensive play, this set by Skylar Williams. McKenna Ross just shoots it deep into the corner, and that is what you call bettering the ball. Not a great swing on the ball or anything, just keeping it in play and putting it where nobody else was.
Hawaii down 4 here in the third. There is McKenna Ross, as if she heard you speaking about her. Comes through with a laser beam there.
7th kill on the evening.
She leads. Hawaii will tied with Natasha Burns for the high-end kills. 4 serving 7. The Rainbow Wahine trailing 2-0 here against UC Santa Barbara. Outside, it's Gigi Ruddins. Well, pick your Ruddins, because they're both pretty good options here for the Gauchos.
I'll tell you what, Gigi Ruddins is leading her team in kills. That's her 9th kill on the evening in 18 attempts, hitting at .333. And a freshman.
There's the other freshman, setter Lovenberg, diving pass by a Q. Leva is dug up by Lovenberg. Here's Lindsay Ruddins from the back row. A powerful swing. And it is UC Santa Barbara by a handful.
Lindsay Ruddin has 34 attempts on the ball so far this evening.
Yosia goes middle to Leva. And that's a little more like the Sarah Leva that we have become familiar with here this season.
Yeah, she just needed a few warm-up swings is what it was.
Gets off the ground so quickly. Played just 1 set last night against Cal Poly.
She's number 47 in the NCAA in hitting percentage at .364 on the year.
Yeah, when she has it going, she can get lava hot. And it's going to be a mishandle on the set, so a point for Hawaii. And they're trying to creep back in.
Let's see if Rico Aquino can get some things going from the service line here.
Hawaii needs to turn things around, and they need to do so in a hurry, that won't help. Wide serve. Point for the Gauchos. They're up 10-6. Hawaii in danger here in the grand scheme of things of rendering that incredible victory in 5 sets over Cal Poly, an 11th ranked Cal Poly Mustangs squad. Rendering that ineffective or essentially useless when it comes to their postseason desires as Leva gets another rip into it. And that's primarily what this coaching staff was concerned about. They didn't want to waste that effort by going ahead and losing the very next night and taking all of that pressure off of Cal Poly down the stretch of the season.
That's right. What good is that win if you can't move it forward for your future in the program? In the season, not the program.
Yosia got it up, but unable to chase it down was Janelle Gong.
And now's the time that Hawaii really needs to slow this down and not let the separation get any bigger.
Crowd trying to do what it can do. Served by Petrocchi. Good pass there by Okino. Outside, it's Granato. She needs to get going. That's her 7th kill.
And Granato hitting at 0.83 right now on the evening. Hawaii needs to keep chipping away. Let's see if Faith Ma'afala can get on a serving run like she did against Cal State Fullerton last weekend.
Here's Ruddins down the line. Great job by Granato to get it over the net. Ruddins a second time. And there will be no returning that one. A touch is called, and it's a point for UC Santa Barbara. 12 serving 8. And you can feel the stress level rising here in the Stan Sheriff Center. Knowing what is possibly on the line if Hawaii is unable to come from behind in this 3rd set. Here's Yosia by the double block. Ruddins. Blocked and roofed. Burns and Granato win the battle that time.
And Burns getting a little aggressive. You gotta love the energy when she blocked that ball. Blocking for points is what this team really needs.
Well, rough one for the Rainbow Warrior football team on the road in Fresno tonight. 50-20, that's now a final score, falling to Fresno State. Slide goes to Ennis. And it is one team, Lisa, that appears to be very much in rhythm, while on the other side of the net, there seems to be much disarray.
Well, it's amazing what pressure can do. UC Santa Barbara comes in here with 0 pressure, no expectations. Let's just play, let's have fun. Hawaii coming off this huge win, knowing they need to perform. That's pressure.
That is a service ace by Lindsay Ruddins. Extending the lead to 5, 14 serving 9.
And UC Santa Barbara, again, continuing to go after McKenna Ross in the serving rotation.
That was the 34th service ace of the year for Ruddins. Here it comes again. McHugh got the pass. Here's Granato from the back row. Dug up over the net. Burns decides to play it. Ma'afala goes high ball to Ross. And a net violation called against the Gauchos. Hawaii will get the point.
And Hawaii, again, those little plays just like that. McKenna Ross doing a nice job just keeping that ball in, seeing that it's a good set, but a little bit off the net. UCSB making some errors.
Oh, great decision there by Lovenberg. Caught everybody napping.
And that's the first one, I believe, that she's done this evening. Everybody was definitely napping on that play. A smart play by Liv.
UC Santa Barbara, preseason pick to finish 5th in the Big West Conference. 4-4 on the road this season. But they have come into the Stan Sheriff Center tonight, and they have put themselves into the pole position. As Granato gets blocked again. Nicole Owenge again.
Owenge, that is definitely her strength. She's a big blocker. She's stayed with Granato. Granato's swinging away heavy and hard on that last play.
It is now desperation time for this Rainbow Wahine squad. Now or never. Ross obliterates that set and gets Hawaii the much-needed point.
Ross just has this spirit about her. She is so competitive. She doesn't care who's across the net. She comes in swinging away, no matter how big that block is.
She's got 9 kills now, matching the output of the Ruddins sisters, each with 9 kills as well, hitting 273, mind you. But the serve into the twine by Noreen Yosia.
And again, an inopportune time, trying to close the gap, especially as UC Santa Barbara closes into 20.
So Lovenberg to serve, 17 serving 11. Here's Ross from off the net, got blocked, she saved it, Gaskin punches it up, Granato can't get it over, and it is 18-11. UC Santa Barbara, 7 points away from busting out the brooms. Welcome back through the turnstile tonight, 4,184, and so far they have witnessed a somewhat painful performance overall when it comes to the Rainbow Wahine and their postseason hopes. Remember, they got that big win against Cal Poly. A loss tonight would certainly take away the pressure that they had put on the Mustangs going down the stretch of the regular season as Sarah Leva gets the touch and gets the kill out of the timeout for the Rainbow Wahine.
And it definitely would. In Hawaii, you just see them just fighting, hanging on right now, trying to verbally motivate one another, talking, encouraging one another on the court right now.
They have shown at multiple points this season an incredible fighting spirit. They need to conjure every part of that up right now. Gaskin plays it off the net and Leva gets it over. And Owenge gets the kill. But right now it's just a tsunami of UC Santa Barbara blockers and attackers that just seem to be putting up a resistance that Hawaii can't crack.
They can't. They seem to just constantly battling to stay in this match.
Outside, here's Granato. Off the block, punched up by Petrocchi. Here's Ruddins. Saved by Yosia. Back bump set to Granato, cross court. Petrocchi right there. That set a little off the mark, so Hawaii now on the attack. Yosia puts the set outside to Granato, blocked, punches it over, we play on. Owenge in the middle, she's blocked. Petrocchi, back bump set, Lindsay Ruddins through the block and down. And UCSB gets to 20.
And she has been so hard to stop. She hit such a high ball off of the hand. She sees the court so well. She knows when she can swing away, and she knows when she can use the hands.
Leva touches it over. Here's Ruddins, cross-court diving save Okino. Yosia, middle to Leva is blocked. Backside, here's Gaskin, double block is up, and she slides right by it.
Gaskin doing a great job seeing the block that time and moving the ball to the inside of the court. Not trying to swing into the block, but moving it around the block. It's her 4th kill on the evening. 5th kill.
Here's Ruddins, blocked back. Ruddins a second time, this time from off the net, and she makes it work. Kill number 11 for Lindsay Ruddins.
And it's hard because you know where they're gonna go. They're gonna go to their go-to girl no matter what. She's got 1,100 total attempts on this year. That is 500 more swings than McKenna Granato. That's a lot of swings.
Here's Granato off the fingertips of the block. Backside, that's Robinson, dug up by Okino. Two-handed over by Granato. The advantage, though, still with the Gauchos and Ennis. Oh, great scoop there by Okino. Granato! And even Petrocchi couldn't punch it up.
And Granato doing a great job. She got a little trapped at the net there, had to actually set it over, had to get back up. Not much of an approach, but just powers that ball through. Serve
down the line. It's Ruddins on the outside. Ooh, great up there by Okino, who has to scoot out of the way. Bump set, Granato. Dug up by Petrocchi. Tight to the net, joust at the net. Hawaii now with it after the Ma'afala save. Back bump set, Granato. Sends it long, was there a touch? No touch, point for Santa Barbara. And it behooves Robin Amos Santos to challenge that call.
That's a great call. She's got to try to slow things down here. And, you know, you may as well ask for the touch. McKenna Granato swinging away high, trying to get a touch.
I mean, at this point, you have nothing to lose. You have challenges left. See if perhaps there was a touch. The Wahine players on the floor were adamant that there was. But these tend to be the most difficult to see via the replay. Do you see anything there?
It looks like it may have touched the outer hand of Charlie Robinson, her right hand, in that last play. It's hard to say, but if anywhere it touched her right hand, Charlie Robinson, here, screen there.
Right, yep, right there. Yep.
I don't know, that's a tough call. I think eventually they're going to turn into fingerprinting, and if there's a print on the ball, then you get called.
That's right.
Things are evolving in this game. You never know what's going to change.
Everyone will have to dip their fingers into a bucket of chalk
beforehand. And the lines will be electric. They'll light up if it's in or out. With the way technology is going.
So it's Dixon Chun on the review.
And we don't hear that great music that we normally hear here in the arena while they're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, they go with some sort of like Jeopardy style music. Is that what it is?
Can you hum it along for us,
as
please?
the soundtrack?
And another look at McKenna Granato swinging high, aiming for hands purposely, trying to tool the block.
Well, headset off, and the call remains. Hawaii trails by 8 here in set number 3. And you just wonder how much of the effects of last night, all that it required, all of the effort, all of that extra emotion that Hawaii had to call upon to take down Cal Poly in 5 sets, how much was still in the tank here tonight? As Ennis sends it to the floor on the slide.
Well, it's pretty obvious, you know, they have struggled from the get-go in this match. And again, the freedom of UCSB to come in here knowing one match in Hawaii, best place ever to play. Let's remember, these two went 5 before. We knew the matchup was going to be a tough one.
Here's Kirsten Sibley, who just entered back into the match, off the block and out. Well, Hawaii's got some climbing to do. McKenna Ross back onto the floor. Hawaii has not been swept in conference since October 10th, 2014. That was on the road at CSUN. Here's Sibley against the double block, goes off of it and out. Point for Hawaii. They're going to need several more of those.
And Sibley doing a nice job coming in for Gaskin, playing the right side there. Tooling the block.
And the serve into the net. And it is aloha ball for UC Santa Barbara.
And those little things we refer to, missing serves at opportune times, have cost this team quite a bit tonight.
So no more room for error. As that serve is blasted long, and UCSB will hang on to aloha ball for the match for a good spell, even if Hawaii's able to go on a run. Tita Q with the serve. Needs to get it in, she does. Outside, it's Gigi Ruddins blocked back. Here she is a second time, dug up by Q. Ma'afala outside to Ross. Off the fingertips, dug up by Petracchi. Middle set to Ennis. Knocked around. Granato will set up Sibley. Through the block, dug up in the back row by Lindsay Ruddins. Here's Gigi. Roofed! Sibley next to Leva.
Sibley taking care of business at the net, doing her job, inserted, hard working. Sealing off the block, posting it.
A lot of work left to do for Hawaii. Here's Ennis on the slide. Good dig there, Ma'afala. Q sets up Sibley. Through the block and down. Kirsten Sibley injecting some hope on the Hawaii side of the net. And UC Santa Barbara will signal for a timeout. The 6'2" junior from Lafayette, California, who was former high school teammates with Janelle Gong at Campolindo High School. Has played sporadically here this season, but thrown in the most dire and desperate of circumstances here for Hawaii, and she has given them at least a little lift here. Is it too little, too late is the only question.
Well, that's a question that's still yet to be answered. I'm not even going to touch that one with a 10-foot pole, but she has done her job. She's come in, she's given them the lift. Yeah, maybe a little late in the match, in the set, if you will, but she's doing a great job, and she's revived the energy on this team. You can see that there's a sense of hope for all of the players. They're buying in, they're celebrating, they've come back together.
Yeah, that was something that just was somewhat absent here for a good portion of this match tonight. Hawaii trails by 5. We have seen far crazier things in this game of collegiate volleyball. And at least for the moment, you're right. There seems to be a glimmer of hope. But the Rainbow Wahine are going to have to score at least 5 more points in a row.
And you know what? Who else to be back there serving? The senior specialist libero transfer from Texas Tech, Kamehameha School's graduate, who has been just an incredible blessing to this program.
11 digs again tonight, double-figure digs in all but one match this season. Needs to get this serve in. She does. UCSB goes slide to Ennis, blocked, and roof. Another point for Hawaii.
And Hawaii chipping away here, 1 by 1.
20, serving 24. Back row set, Lindsay Ruddin sends it long. No touch, point for Hawaii. And they creep just that much closer.
And Hawaii allowing UC Santa Barbara, watching them make some unforced errors here.
Set goes to Ruddins in the back row, blocked by Leva. And it will be returned. Free chance for Hawaii. Can they cash it in? Ma'afala outside to Ross. Dug up by Petracchi. Here's Gigi Ruddins, high hands. The save by Granato. Ma'afala backside. Sibley. Dug up by Lindsay Ruddins along the back line. Here's Gigi by the block. And down, and this one is power. UC Santa Barbara has come in to the Stan Sheriff Center, and they have pulled off a sweep against the home team, Rainbow Wahine. The first home conference sweep defeat for the University of Hawaii since 2008, when it came at the hands of New Mexico State.
I'll tell you what, UC Santa Barbara, the last time they came in here and did that was Nicole Langtang Walsh's first year, October 12th, 2013. She inherited a team and came in and upset the Rainbow Wahine then. And I would have to say this is, would you consider this to be an upset?
I'd imagine so. A team preseason pick to finish 5th in the conference. A Hawaii team that had, at least because of its win total numbers, momentarily taken over first place in the conference with the win over Cal Poly. And then on the road, the Gauchos spoiled the fun after that incredible triumph for the Rainbow Wahine last night. Just 24 hours later, they experience the agony of defeat. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back with the Bank of Hawaii players of the match after this. Welcome back. Bank of Hawaii presents the players of the match. Lindsay Ruddins had 11 kills to lead the way for UC Santa Barbara to go along with 2 blocks, 9 digs, 1 service ace. We should add that her younger sister Gigi pitched in with double figures in kills, 10, hitting 261. And for Hawaii, McKenna Ross got her first start of the season tonight. 9 kills, hit 200, was certainly one of the bright spots offensively for the Rainbow Wahine. Throw in a block and 7 digs as well. So, Lisa, I guess the question is, how much was this UC Santa Barbara just playing a really solid volleyball game, very confident volleyball match? How much was this Hawaii just not performing on its side? And maybe how much do you think was attached to the fact that they had exerted so much and that last night's win over Cal Poly was just so taxing in a number of ways on this team?
Well, if you're going to break it down into percentages, I'd have to say watching them play tonight, it's not the same team we saw last night, definitely. I think they struggled from the get-go. It was obvious. And the Gauchos from UC Santa Barbara came in here, I'll say it again, with 0 pressure. They had everything to gain and nothing to lose. And I think Hawaii, a little bit of the pressure got to them. You have a huge win over an 11th ranked team, Cal Poly. You think, wow, we're good, they build their confidence, and then there's that letdown a little bit. You're at home, you're playing your home court. You've beat the Gauchos before, they're 5-5. That kind of gets in your head too. So not only the emotional, but physically tonight, they were off as well. Their hitting percentages showed they struggled from the get-go.
Next up for Hawaii, who falls to 14-7, 10-2 in the Big West Conference. They go back on the road to take on CSUN and Long Beach State next week. Then they have a Tuesday affair at Pepperdine, and then they come home for the final 2 matches of the season, UC Irvine and UC Davis. Hey, Lisa, thanks stepping in for C-Mac. He'll be back next time we're on the air here at the Stan Sheriff Center, and you'll be back in your seat with the Corner Crew. Speaking of which, don't forget about the Heineken postgame show. For Lisa Strand-Ma'a, I'm Kanoa Leahy. Until next time, everybody, we bid you aloha from the SSC.
Let's take a look at highlights of Hawaii and UCSB. We start off with Rainbow Wahine outside hitter McKenna Ross getting the start tonight in place of the injured Casey Castillo. Ross responded with 9 kills to lead the Hawaii attack, and she also contributed a block. How about the middle? Nicole Amwange. She was really good for UCSB defensively, as she had 7 of the team's 10 blocks. There you see her in on the roof, but a lot of mistakes. I mean, a lot of mistakes by Hawaii tonight. There you see one does not maneuver over the tape of the net. The serve goes into the twine. You kind of get the idea of what the night was like right there. And then, of course, Lindsay Ruddins, who got off to a slow start, but picked things up, ended up with 11 kills on the night. One of the best outside hitters in the conference, if not the country. And there you see her with a nice block. She contributed 2 of those as UCSB comes into Manoa and sweeps the Rainbow Wahine.
From Spectrum Sports, it's the Heineken Post-Game Show.
Thanks a lot for sticking around, Scott, the coach, and Ryan. And what a bummer. I mean, that was kind of our worst fear, that Hawaii, after last night's emotional 5-set win over Cal Poly, if they'd be able to come out tonight. And they didn't.
Yeah, definitely not the team that we saw last night, and a lot of miscues as we saw highlighted in that package that we just saw moments ago. But I think overall Hawaii's passing just sort of broke down. They were not really able to stay in system throughout the night. Very predictable with their offense as well. And you could just tell that just the energy and the emotion by some of these players just not there. Yosia just kind of seemed out of it at times. She just seemed frustrated as we take a look at some of her highlights throughout the night. There were times where Hawaii did move to that 5-1 offense because I guess Robin Amos Santos was just not happy with the way that she was, the product that she was producing. So just not the type of performances that we're used to seeing out of a player that has been so steady for Hawaii.
Well, I think one of the keys was Gigi.
Yeah, Ruddins,
sister of Ruddins, because, you know, I looked at the stats before the game, and she had played in only 24 sets out of like 87 that they played this year, and she came in and got 10 kills, and I really thought she was the spark for the Gauchos.
Yeah, I didn't even know she had another sister that was on the team because she hadn't played that much this year, but she really made a mark. She actually kind of stepped up for her big sister early in the match, and then Lindsay was able to finally get on track.
Well, Lindsay's, you know, they're going to go to her, and I thought we made a little mini run in game 3, and I knew they were going to set her, and, she's just too good a player not to get the ball at that point.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things for Hawaii was just letting go of that first set. Hawaii had that first set in hand, had the opportunity to close the door, and would have been a much different match, I think. That really kind of put them into a negative position, and they were playing catch-up ever since then, just showing the mentality of this team, just not there yet, unable to close in a set that was really winnable for them.
Well, I think when you get ahead 24-20 or something, you assume we're going to win, and, you just wait for somebody else to do it, and no one really took charge. No one wanted the ball, and that set got away, and I think that just set the tone for the night.
But I think you could say, and you should probably say, that this team was not mentally ready tonight. I mean, granted, they had an exciting and exhausting win last night against Cal Poly, but they knew they had to play UCSB the night after, and they knew they went 5 with this same team a couple of weeks ago in California.
Well, a lot of times physically you just can't get up. I mean, mentally is another thing, but physically some of them are maybe tired, and you just can't crank it up 2 nights in a row.
Yeah, and you look at the physicality of this Hawaii team. It's not like they have a 6'4" lineup, 6'3" outside hitters. I mean, these are girls like McKenna Ross and McKenna Granada who are swinging at a lot of balls, a lot of off-system plays, and physically it could have taken its toll tonight.
Well, let's take a look at the final numbers. They're not very pretty for either side, but here they are, guys.
Yeah, you see the hitting percentage from Hawaii at 118, and as you said, Scott, not the best either for UC Santa Barbara at 163. The digs, Hawaii with the advantage 56-51, but unable to convert on that. And Hawaii's block actually at times, they were able to slow down Reddins at times, 8 blocks, but again, UC Santa Barbara outblocking Hawaii 10-8.
Not a good day for UH Athletics. The football team gets beat pretty handily, and the volleyball team gets swept at home. We'll take a break. Come back, we'll have more from the corner.
Welcome back to the Heineken Post-Game Show.
Welcome back. Now let's take a look at the Big West Conference standings, and that loss really hurts us. Hawaii now finds themselves behind Cal Poly, who sits at 9-1. Hawaii currently at 10-2 in the conference, and they are going to need a whole lot of help if they're going to find a way to win the conference and get that automatic berth. Let's take a look at Hawaii's upcoming schedule, brought to you by Levitt, Yamani, and Soldner. Back out on the road for the final time. A 3-match road trip, 1 non-conference at Pepperdine, before that at CSUN and Long Beach State. Then they'll come home and wrap up the season on the 15th and the 16th against UCI and UC Davis. And guys, we were talking about possible scenarios and game on and things like. Realistically, it's over.
Well, the season's not over, Scott.
No, not the season.
Over. No, I'm saying you got a lot to play for. Some of the underclassmen, just need game time. Some of the seniors, this is going to be it for them, and they have a lot on the line. They want to finish strong. They want to go out on top. So the season's not over, and maybe we need some help from the other teams, but individually, each player has something to play for.
You sound like a coach.
Go figure. Yeah, and I agree. I mean, you never know. I mean, this Santa Barbara looked good tonight. I mean, their defense was well. They have 2 pin hitters that were terminal at times, and so they could pose a challenge for Cal Poly in a few weeks. And again, Cal Poly has to play Irvine, and so you never know what can continue to happen down the stretch here. But this definitely does not bode well for Hawaii.
Yeah, tough loss for Hawaii as they fall in 3. But stick around. We have one more segment, and joining us in the corner, McKenna Ross.
Welcome back to the Heineken Post-Game Show.
Well, they're taking up the Terraflex, getting ready for basketball exhibition against HPU next Friday, right here at the Stan Sheriff Center. But here this evening, a disappointing loss for the Rainbow Wahine as they get swept by UC Santa Barbara, but not because of the efforts of McKenna Ross. She was terrific. 9 kills to lead Hawaii in that category. And congratulations on the night you had, even though I know you've got to be super disappointed.
Yeah, definitely disappointed, but we still have 4 more conference games and 1 more non-conference game to turn things around.
What happened tonight? Was it just physically just so exhausting from last night, or what happened?
I wouldn't say it was exhausting. I felt like we weren't really there mentally, and yeah, that's what. brought us
What
down
was
today.
it, maybe you can describe for the fans out there, but what was it like on the court? Was it people getting quiet, or someone, like, no one took leadership, or exactly what was going on? And, you know, sometimes you got to look in each other's eyes and things, but, you know, could you tell us?
I wouldn't say it was a lack of leadership. It was just like we wouldn't have passing, or we wouldn't pass well, and then we'd be on hitting. It was just vice versa, or, you know, we'd get the pass and not terminate. So it was just a little bit off and on, and frustration within each player, and a little bit of high stress.
Well, beyond just tonight, looking at your role so far this season, you've been coming off the bench. Obviously, tonight, your first time starting as Rainbow Wahine. What has this experience been like for you this season, having to come off the bench and having to provide and be that spark plug? Has that been a challenge at all at times?
Not really. It hasn't really been a challenge, just because I feel like that's been my role on a lot of my teams. So it's nothing really new to me, and I just embrace whatever role I have.
You know, when you first came to the program, everybody thought you were going to be like a defensive specialist or something. And I remember when this guy was coaching you, and was it the Arizona match, I think it was, that he called you in as an outside hitter, and everybody's like, what's she doing on the outside? And Hawaii came back, they were down 0-2, came back and beat Arizona in 5. What did you see in her to know that she could do that?
Well, I know that you're going to get an honest swing from her. She's going to go out. She's not intimidated by anybody. She's not going to tip. She's going to just bang, and that's what we needed at that point. Nikki Taylor was out that match, as I remember, and we just needed someone to put the ball down, and she did a great job. And actually, I think she was the reason we beat Arizona in 5.
How do you regroup now? I mean, you're going back to the mainland. You got 3 matches coming up. How do you guys recover from this and focus on what's at hand?
I think we need to take practice not lightly at all, and come into practice with an attitude that we need to beat all the next teams 3-0.
You know, obviously you come from a long lineage of athletes. Of course, your sister, your auntie, Nohea Tano Howard, played here. For you, how has that been, having these other family members who have been so involved in athletics? Do you think that has helped you throughout your career to have athletics be so much a part of your family?
Yeah, it definitely has. I've been surrounded by sports my whole life, and like my auntie, my sister, my dad, they're all super strong mentally, not only just physically. So I feel like that's really helped me as a player.
Yeah, I remember your father, Jason. He played both football and baseball at Hawaii, and was very good in both of them, and went on and played professional baseball for a while. How much does he talk to you about the game and the mental aspect you mentioned?
He talks to me a lot, especially if I look a little shaky to him, or before the game he'll like send me a text to just help me, lift me up, or whatever I need.
Any volleyball advice from him?
Actually, he has a lot to say about my blocking, so yes.
Well, I know that it was a disappointing night, but as you mentioned, you still have 5 more matches left, and best of luck the rest of the season. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
All right, McKenna Ross, our guest here in the corner with 9 kills, but Hawaii comes up short in 3 against the Gauchos. That'll do it for us here this evening at the Stan Sheriff Center. Dave will go back to being a spectator next time, and Lisa will be back here in the chair. But we want to thank our entire outstanding Spectrum Sports crew. For McKenna, for Ryan, for the coach, I'm Scott. Until next time, we bid you aloha and a good evening from the Stan Sheriff Center in Manoa.